Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Let's Go Racing Motorsports report. Yep, we're already in September. Where did the months go? Where did the season go? But a lot of the seasons are winding down. But hey, we're going to keep trucking along here. Don't forget, we got a couple of events coming up. We've got one cruising for Custard Motorsports and Cars Show that will be on Monday, September the 22nd. 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock up at the, I'll move it over this way a little bit. And that's going to be at the Clovers in Paddock Lake on Highway 75 or 83, whatever you want to call it. And then also want to remind you, coming up on Thursday night, September the 25th, just like 3 months before Christmas, we're going to have our traditional outside show. We're going to be at the Hunt Club of Richmond on Route 173 car show, and we're going to actually do the podcast from there. And that will be the show starts around 4. We'll be doing the podcast during our regular time from 6 to 7, and that'll be on Thursday, September the 25th. Speaking of that, and I'm going to give you a few results here before we get to our first guest. Tim Cox won another championship. He won the wingless championship for the regular season at Wilmot Raceway this last Saturday night. He finished in 10th in the feature. The feature was won by Adam Taylor out of Whitfield, Indiana, who is also the Autometer powered by Gandrud Performance Wisconsin Wingless Sprint Car Series point leader. They've got about 5 more shows yet to go. But after the races, Marge Cox, Tim's mom, surprised him, drove down from her place up near the Dells, and was in the pit area, and they were celebrating his victory, and she started not feeling well, ended up making a trip to the hospital. She is recovering, and our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to Tim's mom, Marge. Very, very nice lady. And again, Tim didn't even know she was coming. Nobody in the family knew she was coming. She came, drove by herself, and just kind of surprised everybody because she wanted to be there for her son's championship night. And Tim is the oldest champion in the 75-year history of Wilmot Raceway. He will be 65 in about a week. And that's the oldest champion, regular season champion in Wilmot's 75-year history. And we'll give you some other results from this last weekend. The street stocks at Wilmot on Saturday night, it was Robbie Olson winning his first career feature. He's a second-generation driver. His dad, Rob Olson, of Midwest Motor Coach and Olson Transportation, one of our marketing partners, also races in that division and joined him in Victory Lane, so that was kind of cool. The Bandits, one of our past guests on here, 2 of our past guests, actually. Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson won the season championship feature, however, finishing in second in the main event, but winning the championship. David McKellips out of Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin. Again, he's been on our show in the past, and we're going to get him on in the next few weeks as well. So congratulations goes out to David McKellips for winning that championship. And then in the the modifieds, the winner of the feature was Joey Hunenfeld out of Freeport, Illinois. and finishing in second in the feature, but winning the championship. And we're going to have him on a little bit later on in the program this evening. Steve Miller out of Eagle, Wisconsin. So congratulations goes out to Steve. Some other results from this last weekend. At the Plymouth Fair, annual county fair on Friday night, the IRA feature went to Logan Julian, 16 years old. That made it back-to-back for him. He also won last week at LaSalle, and then Friday night followed it up with a win at Plymouth. The MSA 360 feature went to Ben Schmidt. On Saturday night, in what was probably the final sprint car races ever to be held at Beaver Dam Raceway, because the track is slated to be sold at the end of the season and will not be a racetrack any longer. So it was the Joe Whipperfirth and Harry Neitzel Memorials. The IRA feature went to Max Guilford out of New Zealand. The MSA 360 feature went to Ben Schmidt. Ironically, Scotty Neitzel, whose dad was one of the folks that was being honored that evening, he finished in second in the 360s. And the Lightning Sprint feature win went to Nick Petska out of Spring Grove, Illinois. It was Nick's sixth win at Beaver Dam. And as he said, well, it was kind of a nice way to put the lights out on the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA Lightning Sprints careers up there at Beaver Dam. Also on Friday, a tip of the hat to Mike Doris, who is the starter at Wilmot, the regular starter at Wilmot. He finished up his pure stock season at Sycamore, and he finished third in their final point standings. And on Saturday night down at Sycamore, one of our past guests, Parker Jones, clinched the Badger Midget Championship. The feature was won on Saturday down there at Sycamore by Dalton England. And on Sunday, it was Zach Weigel picking up the Badger Midget feature win. But Tommy Colburn had an outstanding run, led for quite a while in the main event, and ended up getting a spot on the podium, finishing in third. The USAC feature went to Gavin Miller. And at the Hill on Sunday night, my first trip up there to beautiful Door County, a Door County racing facility in Sturgeon Bay, the IRA feature win went to Jake Blackhurst. But there was kind of more of a story there, and we'll be talking to my guest, Andrew, because I'm sure he's seen these kind of things happen as he's been traveling around. Logan Julian, who, as I had mentioned earlier, had won 2 features in a row. Saturday night at Beaver Dam, he was leading, and he spun and had to restart at the rear and ended up finishing 6th in the feature. And Sunday night, he is now second in the point standings going into Sunday night. Blake Nemi, the point leader, they both had problems on Sunday night. Logan Julian, it's just him and his dad and his mom. That's their entire team and their dog. And he had motor problems. They had to change an engine. Everybody from the IRA went to work. They were all helping him out. Non-wing, wing, didn't make any difference. They were all over there helping him out, changing that motor. And he ended up coming out and running in the feature event and finished the night. But that was a tribute to the people from the IRA, really, banding together as a team. Blake Nemi also had motor problems on Sunday night, and Lance Fosbender got out of his car and let Blake take it over for the rest of the night. Blake was doing well, and then he spun and ended up restarting toward the rear, but still he was able to get some points. The wingless feature, the Autometer powered by Gandrew Performance Wisconsin wingless feature, went to Eric Wilkie, and it was a great feature event win for him. Adam Taylor finished in second spot. Rusty Egan finished in third. And Wilkie remarked that when he was 11 years old, he used to go up there and watch his uncle, Jeff Wilkie, race in Door County at Sturgeon Bay at the Hill. And so it was kind of neat that now he got a feature win in just the second time for the wingless cars to be up there. And the modified feature they also had a modified feature up there. Randy Lemieux scored that $1,000 win modified feature on Sunday night up there at Door County. It was kind of a nice place. And we're going to bring a guy in who's from a lot of pretty country, lives out in the beautiful state of Washington, out in the upper southwest corner of the United States, not quite far enough to be in Hawaii. But Andrew Kunis is going to join us. And Andrew, I know you're doing some traveling. I'm sure hearing what I just said about drivers banding together, helping change motors, race teams only having mom, dad, and the dog. You know, I'm sure you've seen it over the years. So welcome to the program, and tell folks a little bit about. I just mentioned it was my first time up there at the Hill in Sturgeon Bay in beautiful Door County. But I'm sure you've been to some tracks this year and are checking them off your bucket list.
And then you're right there. First off, the sprint car teams, even if they have disagreements with each other, they like to help each other out. And I read about the one driver offering, I believe he said it was Blake Nemi, his car for the night there. I thought that was really awesome to see, to help Blake out. I believe he's leading the IRA points last I saw. Yeah. I've been a little busy on my end of things here. So we met a year ago when I was visiting the Midwest here. I live in Idaho. I am from Washington State. That's where home is. But live in Idaho. I was out east and stopped and visited you at Wilmot Raceway there with the IRA sprint cars that weekend. I was at Angel Park the next night. I remember it. Had a great time. But since then here, I joined the Northern Auto Racing Club in California as their announcer. It's like the IRA, it is a major regional 410 sprint car series. And this weekend we were at Calistoga Speedway, which reopened after 6 years shut. There, you don't hear racetracks reopening very often. You hear about them shutting down all the time. So it was wonderful to get to the Calistoga racetrack that's been around for, I don't know, 70 or 80 years. It's been around a very long time there, but it was great to get that place back up there. We were running there Saturday and Sunday for the Louis Vermeil Classic. Louis Vermeil, major figure in California sprint car racing. He helped found NARC back in 1960 and later served as its president and GM for 20 years. He's in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He has since passed away. If the last name sounds familiar, Dick Vermeil, the Super Bowl winning football coach, that is Louis' son. And Dick was actually there in attendance this weekend. We had the Calistoga Speedway Hall of Fame ceremony on Friday night before we raced Saturday and Sunday. And he was there in attendance. It was great to see the members of the Vermeil family. They are from Calistoga, and them starting NARC, or Louis starting NARC there. Calistoga was practically NARC's home track. So it was great to get that back open. And the USAC CRA non-wing 410 sprint cars, which are based in Southern California, joined us this weekend as well. And full house of spectators both nights. So that was really awesome to see there. That was the excitement for Calistoga reopening after all these years. We had some difficulties on Saturday. We have strict curfew, and also we had issues with the track. They tried really hard there. Unfortunately, we had tire wear concerns. NARC, we ended up canceling our heat races. We just went straight to our main event, and USAC had their feature cut a little short at the end of the night there. But Sunday, total 180. Track was fantastic. We didn't have any time concerns, no tire wear concerns, for far as I could tell. And Sunday's show ended up being really fantastic. We had okay car count there. We did have the high limit sprint car series racing north of us in Washington at Skagit Speedway, but we did have James McFadden come down driving the Tarleton 21 car. They were actually up at Skagit Speedway and didn't have the best time up there those first couple nights, so they drove overnight Friday night and Saturday morning to get down to Calistoga. It's about a 15-hour trip or so for them to get down, and uh, it worked out for them. They ended up winning both nights with us there. And fun fact there, James McFadden from Australia, first Australian to win at Calistoga Speedway in 50 years since Gary Rush, who was a huge figure down there in Australia. And James McFadden there said that he grew up watching Gary Rush as a kid down there. So that meant a lot to James McFadden to do that. But yeah, James McFadden, he won. He led every lap on Saturday. Did get passed once there, but by Spencer Baston, who was driving the other car that Paul Silva was involved in, which was the W car this week there, but was 57W in the past, or the Kozlowski machine. But caution flag came out there at the right time, and we had a car stop. I can't remember what was happening, but that helped McFadden there. And then Baston dropped out. He had throttle problems with his car here, so he pulled off the racetrack. McFadden won. Hank Golobic was second. DJ Neto, our former series champion points leader, he was third. And then on the USAC side of things, Robert Brown and RJ Johnson crashed on the last lap, racing to win there. And JJ Yaley there, I'm sure a lot don't know that name. On link feature there. And then Sunday, great show. James McFadden ended up winning again, but it was just like on Saturday. He had one little scare here. He seemed like he was on his way to winning easily again. He had young Dominic Gordon, who won the Dave Bradway Jr. Memorial at Placerville in May, closing in on here. But McFadden made a couple of key passes around slower cars in the closing laps. But however, on the final lap, something broke in the left front of McFadden's car as he's heading down the backstretch here. I'm watching from the infield here. I'm NARC's announcer, but I actually had the weekend off. They brought in Troy Hennig and Gary Thomas to announce this weekend for special events. So I'm watching from the infield here. I could see McFadden coming off of turn 4 there, and I could tell that left front didn't look right there. It wasn't wobbling there, but it was necessary. It was lagging behind a bit there, and he was struggling there. And Gordon was closing in. McFadden, he said he just laid on the throttle there and tried to keep everything as straight, and he just held on long enough there to pick up the win there. If the flag stand was probably another 30, 40 feet down the front stretch there, I think Dominic Gordon was going to pass him there. But yeah, Dominic here saying, "Oh, make this race 26 laps instead of 25 next year." But so the decision to come down to join NARC here really paid off for McFadden and the Tarleton Motorsports team. They've only raced part-time with us here this year. They were out east for a lot of the summer, but they ran the fastest 5 days in motorsports with us in June when we went up to Oregon and Washington. We were at 5 different tracks in 5 days, and James McFadden won 4 out of 5 on that stretch here. So he's won 6 races with us this year, even though only running part of our schedule that team is here. They actually have the most wins here on the NARC's schedule this year. They have 7 wins. They won a race with Tanner Holmes in the car. We had the Maury Williams Memorial Twin 20s. We had 2 main events that night at Thunderbolt Raceway in Tulare, more the central part of California. And Tanner won the first main event that night. So the Tarleton teams won 7 times with us this year, and they just been just one of the most solid teams really ever out of California here. They've had multiple drivers in their cars, and they've all won. And McFadden there, he's going home. I guess his wife is having another baby here anytime now. So I believe Tanner Holmes, who raced in the spring in that car, he's going to be back in the car for our remaining races in October, joining us here. But in the meantime, he won Sunday night in Calistoga on the big half mile. Dominic Gordon, who has one win with us this year. He got his first NARC win last year, one of the Dirt Cup prelims at Skagit, but he was second. And DJ Neto was third again here. And he's only won twice here, but he's had some bad luck, but he's always been running in the top 5, top 10, turning one good finish after another. And he added to his points lead a little bit. Here he's going to be ahead of Sean Becker and Bud Kading, son to Brent Kading, both former series champions, along with Neto also. It's been a little interesting here. Justin Sanders, who was our champion from last year, was leading the points there, but he ended up getting an opportunity to drive for the team that Aaron Reitzel's been driving for. He went out east there. And then we had Tyler Thompson from Oregon driving for the Maine Motorsports team, the 35 KM. They were second at points, and Tyler was leading rookie of the year. And unfortunately, things ended up not working out. They parted ways at the Gold Cup in Chico the other weekend. So they're not around anymore here. So we had about 5 cars that were within about 30 points of each other. And all of a sudden it dropped down to 3 here. But so it's a 3-horse race right now between DJ Neto, Sean Becker, and Bud Kading. Bud Kading has a win this year. He won the Johnny Key Classic earlier in August at Ocean Speedway in Watsonville, where we raced quite a bit this year. But yeah, we had the big Louis Vermeil Classic here, reopening Calistoga Speedway, and this Saturday we're right back at it here. We are making our second and final visit of the season to the Bull Ring there, Placerville Speedway, a little bit east of Sacramento in the El Dorado Hills here. If you're heading towards Nevada, there, heading that direction, you get to Placerville here. But so we have that. Then we have another break here. World of Outlaws are coming through California. Of course, we're not going to run against that at all here. But then October comes, and we run 4 out of 5 weekends to close the season here. California being more comfortable climate here, we can run a little later in the year. But October 4th, we are at Thunderbolt Raceway again in Tulare for the rescheduled Chris and Brian Faria Memorial. That was canceled because of weather back in April here. But October 11th, we go to Antioch Speedway. Got a week off, and then we're at the dirt track at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway in Bakersfield on October 25th. And then we cap things off with a tribute to Gary Patterson on November 1st at the Stockton dirt track. So 5 races left for NARC this year, and that's what we got going on.
Well, you're definitely a busy guy, and it's funny, you mentioned McFadden, and the IRA just had Max Guilford pick up a win from New Zealand, past New Zealand, or I guess the reigning New Zealand champion, I believe. And he's with the 16C team. They kind of had different people jumping in and out of that seat for a while, but now they've kind of settled on him, and he's really doing a good job for him. And what about that? I mean, you get to see some of these different drivers. I do on occasion. We get a few drivers from other countries that come over here. What's the attraction to come over here and run with groups like NARC, like the IRA, like the World of Outlaws,
or even the High Limiter World of Outlaws there? Sprint car racing is an international sport there. For those unfamiliar with sprint cars, they're huge down in Australia and New Zealand. And when it is wintertime up here, it's summertime down there. And a lot of American drivers want to keep their skills sharp there. They'll go down there and race and enjoy the nicer weather too. And it goes both ways there. A number of the drivers from down under here, they want to continue racing and keep their skills sharp there, and go try their hand up here in the States here. And of course, we got a lot of Canadian racers. I've known quite a few Canadians over the years. We had a Canadian win with us back in June there. Levi Klatt from British Columbia got his first NARC win there. It was an upset. He won the first night of the Dirt Cup at Skagit there. Actually passed Justin Peck in the Routine 26 there late in the race to win that night there. And it's pretty neat there. So see, remember Levi saying that someone made a joke about him and maple syrup being Canadian there. So it's his thing now. When he wins a race, you'll have a bottle of maple syrup there. Get on top of the car and take a big swig from that bottle of maple syrup there. Just what he does there. But I actually got a really cool picture there. He got on top of the car and fireworks are going off behind him. He's got the bottle of maple syrup up in the air, taking a swig of it there. But yeah, it's a major international sport. There's been a number of great Australian racers who come up here to the States at least a few times, or race regularly, or live here. Peter Murphy, been in the States a long time now. He's one of the greats from Australia. Long time ago, Gary Brazier came up here. I mentioned Gary Rush there. He was the last Australian to win at historic Calistoga 50 years ago, before McFadden done it here. And Skip Jackson, I think ran with the World of Outlaws a little bit several years back, and I think became a regular at Knoxville for a while. And Linton Jeffries, another one. I believe he lives in Iowa full time now, if I'm not mistaken. There, I put up some hard charger money when I visited Knoxville for the first time a couple of years ago, and he actually got it there. And yeah, I forgotten that he's from Australia. He just lives in Iowa now. So a lot of that's one reason why there, whenever we have multiple countries represented, we happily play those anthems here, because sprint cars are huge down there. When we had McFadden and from Australia, we also had Robbie Price and Levi Klatt from British Columbia joining us during the fastest 5 days there. We played 3 anthems all week there. Advanced Australia Fair, O Canada, and Star Spangled Banner, all back to back to back there. So it's pretty cool to just see that sprint car racing is such a niche here stateside, here in the United States there, but it's actually pretty big down there, and there's just a strong international presence there. And the same goes for midgets. They run midgets down there as well. That's why you see a few drivers from down under at the Chili Bowl every year as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well, and you mentioned, it's great that Calistoga reopened. LaSalle Speedway has reopened after, I think it was about 4 or 5 years that they were down. The IRA was there just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tyler Cuxhouse won an unbelievable wingless feature. And then Logan Julian won an unbelievable, that was his first career feature win with the IRA, 16 years old. And
it's crazy. I couldn't picture myself being in a sprint car at age 16 there, even though I fantasized about it as an 8-year-old there. But just to see those youngsters out there doing their thing there, it's just absolutely amazing there. Most 16-year-olds are just kind of nervous driving their own city car around the street there after getting their driver's license. So it's pretty impressive to see these young drivers out there.
And we've
some of them there you wonder about. Others they're like, oh,
right.
Geez, you wonder if this is the next Kyle Larson. We have a young driver in the Northwest there who drive Kevin Rudeen's local car, Levi Hillier.
Mm-hmm.
He's running 360s right now. He was the National 360 Rookie of the Year and the North American Sprint Car poll that the Sprint Car Hall of Fame puts together. He was the Rookie of the Year, and he's turning 16 next spring, I believe. And I think the plan for him there's Rudeen's going to send him on the road here and get seat time here. And I was hinted at by a couple people in the know there. He's probably going to be going down to California a lot to go race with NARC and get some seat time down there as well there. But that's another driver from Washington who'll be one to keep an eye on here. His father, Chad Hillier, accomplished sprint car racer, also several track titles at Skagit Speedway there. And it wouldn't surprise me if Levi won a track title or two there, depending on what they decide to go do there. But he's another young up-and-comer. He's only 15 there, but as soon as he turns 16, they're sending him 410 racing from the sounds of it.
Yeah, our lightning sprints, the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA lightning sprints. We had a 16-year-old win his first career feature win a week ago Saturday down at Sycamore, Ryan Irwin. And we've got, I think, 2 16-year-olds, a 15-year-old, and a 13-year-old all racing in that division. And not only racing in that division, doing well. And Brian Strain Jr. is winning, and he's 16, and he's wanting to run with Badger Midget full time. He does run a little bit of Badger now, and he also had a wingless sprint car. He was running a little bit of everything last year when he was, 14. It's just unbelievable, and that's good because that's what we're going to have to keep the sport going. Ironically, we also, on the other side of the coin, we have in the wingless sprints that run with the IRA, we have Dennis Spitz, who just turned 75 a few weeks ago. Yep. And then we have Tim Cox winning another championship, regular season championship at Wilmot. He's going to be 65 in about a week and a half. So you've got both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I've actually in the last few years, I've actually seen a couple, not in sprint cars or midgets there, but I've seen a couple guys in dwarf cars who were in their 80s still racing here, which is just in their 80s. It's pretty wild there. But you mentioned the lightning sprints here. They do have some lightning sprint stuff down in California there with the BCRA, which promotes midget racing as well in the state. And up in Washington, you also have Deming Speedway, where they do run 1200s there. Their version of lightning sprints, and 600s are everywhere. Deming Speedway is big time proving ground there. It's a little bull ring track. A lot of the sprint car racers at Skagit Speedway or Grays Harbor Raceway ran mini sprints there first at Deming there. It's just outside of Bellingham, up there by the Canadian border. I know it's a long ways up. We're out here way far away from you folks out there in Wisconsin, Illinois, and that area of the country there. But if you're ever out that way, you want to see some good mini sprint racing in the Northwest there, go to Deming Speedway on a Friday night there. And before going to the sprint car races at Skagit on Saturday, I think you wouldn't regret it there. But the racing is always good on that track there. There's a little bull ring focused midgets there, put on a hell of a show on that track as well. And a number of sprint car racers from California raced micros and mini sprints or lightning sprints or whatever as they were coming up the ranks here. They would go up to Deming there, so it wouldn't shock me there. I really still get to know everyone with the NARC tour down in California there. I've been flying often, but driving down occasionally. So I spend just as much time traveling to and from these events as I am actually down there for those events. But I believe a number of those racers there or others that they know there have been up to go race at Deming here. But yeah, but back to NARC here. It's been real pleasure and honor here to been asked and invited to join the series as their announcer. NARC's got a lot of history. Like I said, it goes back to 1960 there, and it's like IRA, major regional tour there. We're just out in California, and it does go out of state once in a while there. I think they've even gone to Las Vegas before, way back there. But they'll once a year we'll do our trip up to Oregon and Washington there to do the fastest 5 days in Oregon, with that fifth day being in Elma, Washington. Then a lot of us will go hang around and stick around for the Dirt Cup at Skagit there. I was on a over 2 week road trip this year doing that. It's a lot of fun, and it's been a challenge. One, I'm not from California. I had a lot of people ask, like, who's this guy from Idaho here? And just kidding. Yeah. But Flow Racing had made the request of, and other sponsors had made a request of NARC here. Like, hey, we'd like to find a regular announcer for our series. They're not that there was anything wrong with all the local announcers that they were using here. And I know they talked with a couple other guys there, and one of them who I know was offered, he would have been perfect for them, but he was okay with where he was here. And they asked me, because I expressed interest in working for them in the past there, and went from a little casual conversation to Andrew's going to be traveling from Idaho for all of our races here. And I've been flying a lot there. I drove to Calistoga, driving home from there, 14 hours each way there. But thankfully, I've wisened up there. I know I'm famous in some circles out this way for my crazy weekend road trips, but even by my standards here, it's a bit of a ways to go to Northern California. I've driven a few times, but I've also been flying a lot, and I'll be flying down this weekend for our race at Placerville.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be looking forward. I've been able to catch some of your guys' races on Flow Racing because that's one of the benefits. I'm even starting to rewatch the races from the hill from this last Sunday. Even though I was there, I mean, I was driving the pace truck. I did do one thing, Andrew, and then we're going to have to let you go because I got a couple more guests waiting. But I don't know if you've ever done this one. After I announced the starting lineup for the wingless, with the Flow Racing wireless mic, I got in the pace truck, in the Bodycraft pace truck, and I paced the cars as they were getting pushed off and continued to talk and continued to tell folks what was going on. And,
Wow.
even did the wave lap from the truck and then pulled in the infield as they got the 1 to green. And then I jumped out of the truck and announced the rest of the race from the infield. But it was
pretty cool. You made me think of something that I saw several years ago. Several years back, I went to Salmon Valley Speedway in Salmon, Idaho, a little Cornwall dirt track. It's out in the middle of nowhere here, and they only had a handful of cars. I think it's about the only reason why they got away with this. But I will never forget this. The announcer was also the flagman. Yeah, he's flagging the races and announcing at the same time. There, I'm not sure if that was the best idea there, but I remember I was just going track chasing. I was found that track. I decided to go watch the races. They only had a few cars, but I had offered, hey, if you want me to announce here so he can focus on flagging, that's great. They're like, oh, he's got it. I'm like, I don't know, but you made me think of that there. At least you were just driving the pace truck there. I wasn't sure. I don't think it's a good idea to be flagging and announcing at the same time, though.
There you go. Well, good to visit with you. I actually have been lucky enough to go to the state of Washington before, and California and Nevada and that, and I made a little short. I was on the train, so I was sleeping when I went through Coeur d'Alene both times, going into Spokane and leaving Spokane.
If you ever make it out here, give me a holler there, meet up there, and hopefully, I don't think I can make it happen this year, but I hope next year I can get back out there to visit you at Wilmot Raceway, and then go see the IRA sprint cars there, go hang out with Lauren Kelly and Chatty Matty as well. I just had a ball hanging with them that weekend last year, but no, I think the IRA sprint car deal is so cool there. They're very similar to NARC here, and then the Wisconsin wingless sprints here, I think that's pretty awesome. You got such a great scene there in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, that whole part of the country there. You just got pretty good here, but I'm enjoying things in California there, but I do enjoy getting out there whenever I can as well. There, including to Knoxville as well.
And Steve Sinclair, the head of all of it, inducted into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame this year.
That's well
deserved. It was awesome. Well deserved. Andrew, thank you very much. I'll look forward to catching you on Flow, and we'll be in touch, and hopefully our paths cross at a racetrack soon.
I hope so, too. Thanks for having me.
Take care. God bless. Thanks, Andrew.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Andrew Kunis joining us from Idaho. Pretty cool. Want to thank some of our partners. The B&L Office Furniture, of course, gets us on each and every week. Game Day Men's Health of Libertyville and Kenosha. Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars. Pink Roofing, who put a new roof on Kathy's and my house. Whitmore Towing and Auto Service. Fox Lake Harbor, Force One Performance Parts, the Hunt Club of Richmond. We mentioned we're going out there September the 25th for a road show. Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts of the Midwest. Bodycraft, Mark and Tony Maglio. MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd. Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bill Fusting. Goodwood Performance, Hartnell Chevrolet. Culvers of Paddock Lake. September 22nd, car show there. Jack's Helmets, Jack Eschbach. Kaylee Burns from Rebel Bell Salon in Kansasville, Midwest Motor Coach and Olson Transportation. They support the Lake County Honor Flight. That'll be making a trip in October. A-Main Apparel and Diecast, Thomas Guard IT, John Hedderline, attorney at Alt Law, Cabins on the Lake in Friendship, Wisconsin, 5-Star Race Car Bodies, Carl and Corey Schultz and Daniel Sanchez, Impressions Count, Nikki Nielsen, and Bassan's Tree Service. I think I covered everybody. So now we are going to bring in John. John's going to give us our weekly Great Lakes Dragaway update. And John, appreciate you patiently waiting there. That's what happens, John, when you bring in an announcer. And
not a problem. I managed to eat my supper while I was waiting. So
no, but he's just a great guy. Like he said, we met each other last year when he came to see the IRA at Wilmot. And Andrew's just really a nice guy, and it's fun to catch him on Flow Racing, and say, hey, I know that guy.
That was interesting listening to him. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So, John, a busy weekend, Great Lakes Dragway, Labor Day weekend. Give us a little update on how it went and then what we got coming up in the next few weeks.
Well, it actually worked out really, really well. Friday, unfortunately, the rain came in a little bit for a little while Friday evening, but it worked out good for their kind of early kind of a pre-show. It really helps for some of the drivers, especially in our group. Some of them travel from a distance, and being able to come in on Friday and make some test runs and put on a little bit of a show for the crowd Friday night worked out really, really well. And then Saturday, the weather was awesome as far as making horsepower in that. So a lot of cars going down the track. The whole event turned out really, really well. There were no major oil downs or anything like that. So everything ran pretty smoothly. And a lot of guys in our group set some record times and because of the cool air. And then Sunday we had the Midwest Truck Invasion, which was another big hit. So very, very busy weekend, and a lot of spectators on Saturday because the weather was so good. It was a good turnout.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. We did have some, other than, like you say, other than the little bit of rain on Friday, we did have some decent weather over the weekend. A little bit cooler once the sun went down, but again, the cool weather tends to help with the horsepower, right?
Yeah, it did, but unfortunately for the nitro dragsters, it later at night when they wanted to make their second hit, it was getting a little bit too cold. I think the track was maybe starting to go away a little bit to try to handle all that horsepower. So they had to pedal it a couple times, but that was getting pretty late at night after 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so. So it still looked cool though with the nitro, with the flames shooting out of the pipes and stuff. But it was conditions got a little bit tougher.
All righty. Well, and I gotta get the check-in now. How is the Battle of the Sexes going on Wednesdays? I know you mentioned they're going to try to keep it going as long as they can keep it going, and how is it doing?
It's doing well. Kristen, I think I'm trying to get Kristen on here. She's been killing it on the tree and actually doing real well. I got to get her in here. She's doing really good. I think the women won that one, so. I don't know if they're still behind. I have to talk to Sarah and get with Sarah and see what the exact what the tally is between the Battle of the Sexes. But the women are doing pretty good.
Now Wednesday nights, that's Wednesday nights. The women get to race for free and they get to spectate for free. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah. There's Wednesdays are also a good night for guys to come out if you want to try your hand at bracket racing, because then they do the men's bracket race for fun, and it's a good way to get in there to try it and see how you do and then go against the women if you're the winner of the men.
Okay, and I know I've been bugging you on this one, and you were hoping to get a date definitely nailed down. When are we going to have the snowmobile drags on the clay?
Tentatively, I think it's October 3rd. I will find out for sure. I know they were out there actually working on it with the skid steer during the week here, so they're making sure everything is getting ready. I'll find out again from Randy and make sure that that's the date that they stuck with. But that's what he was telling me last time I had talked to him. We also have another thing going on this weekend. We have our AMC days or AMC Nationals. They had done that at Cordova, but now they're going to do that Friday and Saturday at Great Lakes Dragway, which will be pretty nice. It'll be AMC event. And then also on our drift track, their Drift GLD is going to do a rodeo big event. They're going to do a contest with a camp and a drifting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 5th through the 7th. And that should be a good event, too. If you ever want to watch the drifter guys go, they do teams, 2 cars at once and some of the other things. So that's something that's, I think, new this year that they're doing, or it's got quite a bit of interest already. I think there's like 56 or 60 people signed up. So it should be it's kind of fun. Take a break from the drag racing and watch them do that. And sometimes they'll let you do ride-alongs with that, which is a blast also.
Oh, that definitely sounds like it. Now, those kind of cars, because sometimes I've seen those kind of cars trailered, and sometimes I've seen them just driven down the street. Can it be either way? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of guys that drive in with their cars. And, it's kind of interesting you say that about driving them on the street. There was a BMW club that came in on Friday driving their street cars in. And there was just a unassuming looking white 4-door BMW that ran in the quarter mile, low nines, and 155 miles an hour. I mean, he's going faster than I'm going with my car. And he drives it in and drives it out. I thought that's pretty impressive.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And I know that, I'm just guessing that maybe you might have heard something. We had Kimbra Fusting on last week. She was getting ready to run down at Indianapolis over the Labor Day weekend. Did you happen to hear how she ended up faring?
No, I didn't hear anything on that. Yeah, we were just I've been out of touch here a little bit because we were racing so much, and then coming back yesterday and today I've been doing some work on getting my car ready for this next week, and I'm going to be racing another nostalgia race down in Havana at Mid-States Dragway. So working on that and working on changing a set of slicks for my buddy that keeps doing John Force burnouts and only gets about 3 races off a set, and I have to replace him for me. Like he said, it's all about the show, and he puts on a good show, but the tires that he put on before our out-of-sight drags are shot already, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit too long on the burnouts.
There you go. Okay, well, and again, where did folks need to go to get information on Great Lakes Dragaway, to find out the latest, if Mother Nature's thrown us a curveball, to find out, if racing is happening?
Quickest and easiest way is go to probably the Facebook page, Great Lakes Dragaway Facebook page. You can also give Randy a call. He's at 262-878-3783. He'll answer the phone. That's about the quickest and most immediate answer you'll get. And then you can go on the website, greatlakesdragway.com. All
righty. Sounds great. Well, John, we appreciate you coming on tonight, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you next week. And, and I know I keep saying it. I'm going to get up there. I really am. Yeah. Before the snow flies, I will definitely get up there. I know one time I want to definitely be there is when when we have the snowmobile drags, because those things are awesome.
Yes, they sure are. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, John. Say hello to Randy and everybody up there for me.
Will do. Nice talking to you, Mike.
You too. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was John Reidenbach with our weekly update at Great Lakes Dragaway. Coming up this coming Saturday at Wilmot will be the season championship for the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA Lightning Sprints for the track championship. Their season championship will actually be up at the Plymouth Dirt Track the last weekend in September, along with the Wisconsin Sprint Championships. Also this Saturday night will be the Wing 604 season championship event and crown their champion, as well as the street stocks. Now, the IMCA modifieds are on the schedule. Modifieds are on the schedule. They won't be IMCA sanctioned because their nationals are going on this week in Boone, Iowa. So that's the program scheduled for this Saturday at Wilmot Raceway. And we're going to get a guy on the phone right now with us. And I know we've got Nathan Crane waiting, who's got some important information on his event that he does every off season. But Nathan, just hang in there, buddy. Keep your shirt on, Nathan. I can kid him about that because he's the shirtless Nathan Crane. But anyway, we'll get to him shortly. But I'm going to call Steve Miller here, the IMCA modified champion from this season at Wilmot Raceway. He picked up the championship this last Saturday night. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you.
All righty. I think you're sounding good, unless I get a different message from my producer. I know you're out having fun and relaxing a little bit, but congratulations on another championship, picking up the championship last Saturday night at Wilmot Raceway. Finished second in the main event, which is, to Joey Hohenfeld, but that's no slouch finishing second to him. He's also won a championship at Wilmot a few years back. So congratulations.
Yeah, he had a couple tenths on me every lap too, so I wasn't going to beat him.
Yeah, he seemed to be running pretty strong. But tell us about it. I know when we've talked before, you said, "Hey, I don't really points race," but you end up winning a title.
Yeah, so I committed like this last year and this year. I lost it by 2 points, which I was glad to see Joel Krober to get it. And then this year I says, well, I'm every race, and or a chip slide, and So I was happy to get it, to work out over here on my garden. And got a good dedicated crew. I'm very blessed with the guys I have and the means to be able to do this and the time to do it. So.
And now, of course, besides Wilmot, I know last year when we talked at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of this season, actually, I think the number was something like 60-ish races that you were hoping to get in if Mother Nature cooperated. And where are you at regarding that mark?
I didn't count how many were way down because of all the rainouts. And then my daughter, JC, is running pretty good on go-karts. I've taken a couple nights here and there off. There's 2 nights of racing for her racing. So because we ran down to Norway, Illinois, and a couple national events that we ran. So I took a little bit of time off. None from Wilmot, obviously, or a couple Chilton nights I missed. So, and then.
Well, there's a big event coming up, and I'm going to show up the poster here, and I know you know about it. It's the 8th annual Jim Wildman Watson Classic coming up on September 20th at the Plymouth Dirt Track. It's actually going to be 1,000 to win for the modifieds, and that's going to be a pretty cool thing coming up. So tell us a little bit about. Are you planning on running that this year? You're going to be able to make it.
Conflicting schedule. I'm going to run. I plan on running Gravity Park's Fall Classic. I wish these people would get together on these times, but I might run Friday there and then run Saturday at Plymouth. I'm just going to see how things work out. So
there you go.
And
oh, you still there? Or did we lose you?
Once my whole life, and I didn't even do that good. So
yeah. Okay.
It's fun. I'd love to run with the late models and everything like that. And see if Mother Nature plays us a good or bad hand as well. And I think they conflicted it with Beaver Dam too. So
yeah. Well, just kind of the way it works out sometimes. So well, Steve, we're going to let you get back to your celebrating your championship. We'll look forward to seeing you. Are you going to run this Saturday at Wilmot? I know it's a non-point show, but
no, I'm on a mission. I'm going to be 58 in November. And I'm on a mission to get as many wins as I can possibly get till the end of my career. So I'm collecting really expensive plastic trophies. So.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday then at Wilmot.
Yeah, sure will. Yeah, track was great last night. I had a lot of fun. I can't believe I got through that crowd and I didn't really even put a ding in my car. I cannot believe it. So, but we had a good time.
Oh, that's great. And again, congratulations on another championship. And it was great to see you in Victory Lane there. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care.
Take care, Steve. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Steve Miller, and that's the 2025 75th anniversary season champion at Wilmot in the modifieds. Well, we're going to get the shirtless wonder now. Actually, he doesn't have a camera on, so that's good. Nathan Crane is going to join us because Nathan has a big event that he does every year, and he's had to make, we were just talking about dates and conflicts and kind of being a little bit flexible, and Nathan has moved his event in November. So Nathan, tell the folks about the new date for the big event.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to state I thoroughly enjoyed when you said keep your shirt on when when everyone was talking. But so we moved it to November 8th, Saturday, November 8th at 4 p.m. at K1 Speed in Waukesha. It's Milwaukee, but the location is technically Waukesha. It's our 7th annual event. It gets bigger and better. This year we have a cutoff, so it's not a 16-hour event. K1 allowed us to have 100 racers max. Last time we had 84, so we should definitely be able to get extra 16 racers. Actually, the entry lists are coming in pretty quick as we speak, so we're filling up pretty fast, which is awesome. And for anybody who doesn't know the detail on it, it's just a fantastic off-season fellowship with racers you may race weekly, or you'll have some racers that have come out from Minnesota and Indiana and obviously Wisconsin. That's our state, but Illinois. and it's just to have a good time. You get to race all kinds of disciplines on racing, dirt, roads, sprint cars, bandits, modifieds, late models. We even got quad racers, dirt bike racers, rally drivers, drag racers. I mean, you name it. Everybody's there, and it's just to have a good time in the off season where, I mean this in the best way, you can run some go-karts and you don't have to worry about the consequences of what's happening. You don't have to work on it all week, So it gets a little rough, but it's a good and fun rough. And if you haven't ever been to it, check out the page. You can see past results. You can watch past live, or they were live, but just recaps of the events on the pages, and it's just a real good time. It's $150 per racer. It'll come with 4 races minimum. You'll get a practice, 2 qualifying sessions in case you get a bad card, or in case you were just in a bad heat where you couldn't necessarily pass anybody. But we take your overall fastest time, and we put you into the infamous alphabet soup, and then that's when the show really starts. On top of the 4 races minimum, if you win your alphabet soup, you advance to the back of the next main. It comes with food and drinks. We got prizes and cash raffles. So it's I feel like it's a good bang for your buck, and clearly a lot of other people do, because it's returning. Everybody keeps coming back and getting more and more. Last year we had a seasoned veterans race. That was pretty cool. It was a 50 years young race, 50 years or older young race. We also introduced the Race of Champions. That was awesome. Just it's basically we took the top 5 at that point, because it was the 6th annual last time. This one's the 7th, and then we took the next 5 best. People had stats throughout the 5 events, and then this time we're going to take this top 6 event winners, and then we're going to take the next 4 best stats that we got. So looking very forward to it. Nobody's fault that we had to switch a date. It's actually my fault. I talked to every other racing Wisconsin banquets in the area, Badger Car Club, Badger Midgets, and the MSA, and I got all their dates so I wouldn't book it on them. And Wilmot's has always been in January, so I didn't, it's my fault for assuming, but didn't even think to think about it. And I posted it. I started launching, letting everybody know what's the date, and my messenger exploded with everybody saying, "Hey, that's on Wilmot's banquet." And I said, "Oh, great." So then I had to reshuffle some things. I unfortunately have to put it on Badger Kart Club's banquet night. So I apologize for any of the guys who are going to come out from there and come to our event. But if I push it back any November, it's hunting season, then I'm going to lose about half the racers, because they're all hunters. And if I push it back even further, November, you hit, Thanksgiving, and then it's December, and then it's Christmas and New Year. So I unfortunately had to bite the bullet and put it on the 8th, but I just hope it's going to be another good turnout, as it always is.
I'm sure it will. And actually, too, the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Fame, who's having their golf outing coming up on the 16th, up there in Slinger, or the 16th of September. They have not announced their date yet. Traditionally, it's been the first Saturday in November, which also would have been the same night that you were talking about. But they have not announced that yet. And so,
let's hope it's not the 2nd.
Well, maybe you may want to touch base with Dick Melius and beg him to not do that, because actually last year I think it was the same night.
It was. I tried switching it so it wasn't on theirs, and then it happened to be that one too.
Yeah. So, but I know they're doing some things differently with the induction this year. They aren't going to have it's not going to be a food type event, and so. Maybe I don't know. I mean, talking out of the top of my head here, maybe you could convince them to do theirs like in the afternoon.
Maybe, but I'm just a nobody. I'm just a half-naked guy who walks around the pit.
Yes. When my wife saw you at the driver's meeting, she goes, "Doesn't he wear a shirt?" And I said, I said he wouldn't wear it when he drove if he could get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, if I didn't have to wear a fire suit, I probably wouldn't.
So, well, and also, I know that you've been doing some racing this year, and you've still, got the Wing 604 this weekend. I believe you'll be in the 10V again, correct?
Yeah, for this coming weekend. Yep.
Yep, the Pink Roofing 10V of Matt Vanderveer. And and go ahead. I know we don't have him on, and we're running out of time, but your brother had a great weekend this last weekend, so fill folks in a little bit on Derek.
Yeah, he went down to Kentucky. Backstory: he's been out without an engine for about 8 or 9 months. He came back on his first race and he picked up second, runner-up, bridesmaid, and then he went down to Ohio and won that, clean sweeped it, and then he went down to Kentucky just this past weekend, and I think it was another clean sweep. Don't quote me, but I know he won. I know he won the feature, so he's doing really good. He's doing real happy. He's loving that new engine done by Timolati, and yeah.
All right. Well, that's great to hear. Congratulate him for us, and maybe I can try to get him on next week's show, and we can talk a little bit more. Well, we've got a lot of racing yet to go. The season's winding down, but we'll be looking forward again. Give your event one more plug there, November 8th.
Yeah. November 8th, Saturday, November 8th. Be there at 4 p.m. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of our supporters and sponsors because I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. Matt and Natasha Vanderveer for giving me the honor to pilot the 10V wing sprint car. Obviously, even though you have a car, you need sponsors. And I'd like to thank Steve and Amy at Pink Roofing, Real American Beer, Tony and Carla at Don's Machine Shop, Chris and Lori at Miller Motors, Eddie and Debbie at MLS Auto Clinic, Mark and Tony at Bodycraft, TK Investigations, my crew chief Turbo. I had Ryan Mansky come out and help us out while Turbo was dropping his kid off at school. I want to thank my wife for taking care of the kids. I work 2 full-time jobs, so she's at home all day, but on the weekends, I'm sure she'd love for us to be spending time, but I'm out racing, so I can't thank her enough for all the weight that she pulls just so I can focus on racing. But I definitely am blessed to have a partner who pulls the wagon with me, and so when I get out of the car, I can see my kids there too. And yeah. But again, November 8th, Saturday, 4 p.m., $150. You do have to prepay to lock your slot in. You can show up the day of, but if we hit our 100 racers before that, you'll either have to be on a waiting list or unfortunately you'll just have to watch. So you can prepay me on Venmo. It's Nathan-Crane-20. Please be specific. Like if it's, you're paying for your kid or something, you put down the name of the driver. That way I can have it all pre-registered and sent into K1 so everything goes smooth. But yeah, other than that, love what you're doing, Mike. And God bless.
All right. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday night then and see what happens in the season finale for the Wing 604s, points-wise anyway. So good luck on Saturday. And also, if you got a flyer put together, get that for me, and I'll definitely give you a plug on Saturday when I get on the mic. And
yes, I will do that. That'll be huge, actually. Thank you.
All righty. That sounds good. Thanks a lot, Nathan. Take care, buddy.
Take care. Bye.
God bless. Bye-bye. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. We talked a little bit of everything, and that's the way it is here on the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. So, like I keep saying, get out and support your local racing. You can always, tape the races on TV. That's what I've been doing. And then I watch them at 2 o'clock in the morning after I get home from the racetrack. But anyway, just support your local short tracks so that we don't have them going away like Beaver Dam. So that we have them coming back like Calistoga and like LaSalle. All righty. So until we see you next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless. And let's go racing, everybody.